Welcome back, kids. BoyTalk Podcast, Episode 3. I'm your host, Harrison Smith. And, I was, first podcast dropped on Monday. And then after I went to therapy and, did my thing, I started looking up good ways to grow a podcast. And everything kind of told me, have 3 episodes right off the bat. So I was like, oh, okay. Luckily, I have quite a few things to talk about. So I recorded one yesterday about overthinking that just went out right before I recorded this one, and with this one, I kind of went back and forth about what I wanted to talk about, and I had some stuff I've been mulling over in my mind. Um, a lot about forgiveness, which I'm pretty good at. There's a couple people in my past that I haven't forgiven yet and haven't begun the process of forgiving yet. But then I kind of started thinking more about what's going on in my life, and the overthinking one yesterday, or the getting out of your comfort zone one yesterday really was really prevalent. Still kind of is prevalent. Obviously, I haven't. If you've listened to it, I haven't done the scary thing yet. But this one, I settled on loneliness, because I'm my whole life and right now I'm fairly lonely. I'm it's it's a weird thing to say out loud because I don't think I've ever really talked about it to any of my friends, my therapist a little bit, but I don't go around very often going, I'm a lonely guy, because that makes you kind of sound kind of a little sad, but that's what this podcast is for: opening up and being a bit vulnerable, and that it's okay. And I again, getting out of my comfort zone a little bit, telling everybody I'm lonely. So this is my fourth or fifth attempt to try to record this, and I might ramble on a little bit. I might edit in some of the stuff I recorded before, so if this is a little choppy, forgive me. I'm still working on this. But yeah, let's kind of get into it here. Um, like I said, I've been lonely a lot in my life, and I grew up a middle child. Love my family. Come from a really really great family. There's I have my two brothers are fantastic. They're two people I'll go to war for immediately, but also the two people who piss me off kind of the fastest. Um, but yeah, it's weird growing up a middle child. I know there's always that stigma of the middle child. They're the forgotten ones. They're lonely. It goes on and on. Black sheep, whatever. And I relate to that. And it's sorry, my phone's bothering me. And it's nothing my parents did, or maybe it is, but they're fantastic parents. It's just I grew up feeling very lonely, and all through elementary school, I didn't really understand why I felt like such an outsider and outcast. I always felt like nobody really understood me or got me or wanted to be my friends, and that's been kind of a running theme in my life until I got funny, and I kind of stumbled on it by accident. I remember it really really well. It was right after my parents got divorced. I was sitting at one of my neighbor's house with a few of the neighbor friends, my older brother, um, and then some other people, and I was just doing the dumbest stuff, but I was getting laughs, and I was like, this is cool. I can run with this, and one of the best memories of my life. Me and my older brother went back to our house, and he kind of pulled me aside, and he was like, "Hey, you're really funny." I doubt he remembers that. I doubt anybody even remembers that day, except for me. But that kind of changed my whole life into, I can get people like me by making them laugh. because I wasn't the smart one, I wasn't the athletic one, I wasn't the handsome one, I wasn't any of these things, but I could be funny if I really work on it. And that was coming towards the end of 8th grade, and that summer, I kind of started figuring out what was funny, what wasn't funny. It was a lot of falling on my face, and then I just kept working on it, kept looking at comedians and read rooms, and got really good at reading people. And then about halfway through junior year, I started kind of being really funny and the class clown, and led me down a path of being the funny guy, which turns into the party guy and the attention seeker, and teachers either loved me or hated me because I would disrupt class. Some teachers loved it because I'd also participate while disrupting class. Other teachers, teachers either love me or hate me. There's no in between. So I'm the funny one, and people start liking me, and I can make friends fairly easy. But there's always been that little bit inside of me that's I want kind of more than that. I want a partner. I want somebody who's there for me, and I'm there for them on a deep, intimate level. And I'm not good at finding that. I might have been in the past, and I just was too scared to do anything. But now every time I find that, I don't know what I do, but and I don't think it's anything I'm doing. I think it's just, finding the wrong partners at the wrong time, or the right partners at the wrong time, or the wrong partners. I guess if you find the wrong partner, it's always at the wrong time. But finding a significant other, man, that's a tough thing to do. That is a really tough thing to do, especially when you're this. I don't know how to describe this without it coming off as rude, which that's not my intention. I'm jealous, but there's people who are simple, not dumb, but just their hobbies. They're surface level, and I kind of wish I was a surface level person, because that makes life a lot easier. I'm quite introspective, even though I'm a goofball, and I overthink everything, and I analyze everything, and I have a lot of interests that go beyond just, I like surface level things. So there's a lot of people who are surface level, and they find partners who are surface level, and they just kind of click. It's like two puzzle pieces going right together. And me and my best friend, because we relate on that level of complexity in our lives, and there's this really great meme where it's the two puzzle pieces clicking together, and then they're sitting on a couch, and then this other puzzle piece comes in, but it's like a jigsaw puzzle. It's sorry if you're just listening to this, it's hard to explain, but it has all these ridges and narrow cuts and lines, and it's like, trying to find another puzzle piece that fits that, it's really, really difficult. And I think there's more complex people out there than there are simple people. And again, I'm not trying to put anybody down or say if you found somebody you're simple, or so I also know really complex people who have found each other in freshman year of college, who are super happy, and they've been married for 20 years. And then I know people who try to force puzzle pieces together, and it doesn't ever end well. So it's really challenging to find that partner sometimes, a lot of the times. And a lot of people get lucky, and some people aren't as lucky. But so let's kind of move on. I feel like I'm rambling a bit here. But after my past heartbreak, I dated around for a little bit. I remember I was in the depths of it, with everything that was going on, let alone just the heartbreak. But I feel like I needed something to escape to. So I was like, all right, the best way to get over somebody is to get under somebody. Fellas, you know what I'm talking about. And I don't agree with that at all, because I've tried it a lot of times and it does not ever fucking work. Um, but yeah, I went on, a handful of dates, and and just dating, especially from the dating apps, is it's really complicated. It's not complicated. It's a lot of trial and error. In a short amount of time, I went out with one girl who we were laughing, having a great time the whole time, and then she left. And then 10 minutes later, I got a text going, "No, it wasn't for me. I didn't like you," which is fine. That's the point of dating. But especially these dating apps, they're how do I put it? It works for some people, and I know a lot of happy couples who have met on dating apps. But for me, it's like dating in a vacuum, where you go off look first and then personality later. And especially if you're lonely, you'll try to force the puzzle pieces together. I've done it 100 times, but that really leads into just this really really negative cycle for me, anyways, where it's just prospecting for a mate and then getting rejected, or maybe you go on a handful of dates and then it doesn't work, and I always end up feeling just terrible. But on on the other hand, it did really help me get over the girl, because and the initial stages of getting over her, I was like, no. And I'm sure a lot of you have felt this before, where it's nobody's gonna be as good as her. I don't even find other girls attractive, and she was perfect for me, and she was perfect except for one thing. She wasn't ready, or she didn't like me, or maybe that's two things, but it's besides the point. But I got on the Hinge app, and I was going through, and I'm like, no, you're not her. No, you're not her. You're definitely not her. And then after about a day or so of that, you start finding girls who are good, and you could see something happening with. But then you swipe on them, and then it'll swipe back on you. So it got my mind out of that one person is great for me. So it got my mind off of that one person is great for me, and there's other people out there. There's other girls out there that I could see myself with. So there's a good thing about that, and it does start that the best way to get over somebody is to get under somebody. It starts a little bit. There's some validity to it, I think, but then I think once you start finding other girls attractive, and you do start taking her off the pedestal, or that was all or nothing for me, it's kind of time to step back, and that's where I'm at. And luckily, one of my friends, we ended up going out one night, and we were trying to wingman for each other, because she gave me terrible dating advice, and I gave her terrible dating advice. So I was like, hey, let's go get drunk and wingman for each other. And we ended up going out, having a blast. We ended up kissing a little bit that night. Then we went on a date, and it was really great, but she wasn't in a place to date. She thought she was, and she wasn't ready. She had a lot of stuff going on in her life, and I completely understand. And she told me this, and at first I tried to sound cool, and I was like, all right, cool, whatever. And then I felt immediately guilty about that. So don't try to be cool, just be yourself, and it's a lot better, trust me. And then that led me down the thoughts of, am I even ready to start dating? Or am I in a place to open myself up to somebody? And I realized the answer is no. It's not. Or I'm not. I got this baggage with this girl. I'm still trying to wade through. The girl who broke my heart. I'm trying to wade through all that, and then kind of still put my whole life back together again from the career falling apart and the emotional toll of the cancer scare. And I don't know if I told you guys this, but no, I don't have cancer, and I picked my whole career up again. So we're back and better than ever, and we're firing on all cylinders now. Um, but I'm still just starting the process of maybe opening back up to a partner. And each day kind of goes back and forth, and my big thing is trying to see, am I ready or am I just lonely? And then I watched this Instagram video, one of these reels. And I'm so sorry, I don't remember who it was from, or else I'd give them credit. But it was saying, if you're in your lonely season, lean into that. So right now I'm lonely, but I'm happier than I've ever been, and I still think I need to do a little bit of work on myself, and I'm really leaning into my lonely season because I really want to know myself on a more intimate level and a more profound level. Let's go with that. That sounds a little bit better. And figure out what I truly want. Last episode I said I know what I want, and that's peace. And out of everything in my life, I want to be really peaceful. And the reason I work so hard at work is for three things: so I can travel, so I can eat the really good food, and drink the really good wine. And do those things with peace. I'm on the right track of finding, a partner who wants the same things. And then I don't really know what I want from a partner yet. I have a vague idea, and who knows, this all might be leading up to something a little bit. The universe, like I said, works in very mysterious ways, and it might drop somebody in my lap tonight. I'm going to the grocery store after this, so I might find the love of my life there. Or I might find her in another 20 years when I'm 45. Fuck. I hope not, but, if that's what's in store for me, that's what's in store for me. But let's talk a little bit about, I know how hard it is. It's fucking hard being lonely, man. It's especially when you're like me and have so much love in your heart to give. If you've read the book Great Gatsby, which I'm sure a lot of you have, Jay Gatsby, he's the most hopeful man in the world, and he sold his soul to the devil to chase after one girl. And he loved her, and he would do all these grandiose things, and that's how I see myself. If I truthfully care about a partner, I would sell my soul to the devil and do whatever it took to get there. And just because I don't want to be lonely. It's a painful. I wouldn't. It's probably the worst thing to feel other than heartbreak. And heartbreak has a lot of loneliness mixed in there. But some solutions you can do, like what I did the other day, I was feeling deeply lonely. And it was the day after the Super Bowl. Didn't get out of bed until like noon. Got some work done, and then was so close to downloading Hinge and trying to get into that vacuum again and force a partner into my life. And instead I kind of funneled that into something creative. And I love cooking, so I opened up my fridge to see what I could cook, and been wanting to try to make pasta from scratch. And I found some basil, so I was like, I'll make some basil pasta thing. And then that got my creative juices flowing, so then I ended up making this 7-hour long dinner, and it was pretty good. It wasn't the best thing I've ever cooked, but it was great for my first go at it, and that really got me out of that lonely cycle in my brain. And But then again, when you're falling asleep at night, wishing somebody was there, it's hard to get through that. Or you could, call some of your friends up. I do that a lot, and luckily, I'm starting to realize how many friends I really do have, and I'm lucky enough to have curated a wide variety of really good, supportive, fun friends, and I know who to talk to when I'm feeling lonely, or if I want to vent, I can call up a different friend than if I just want to go hang out with the boys and talk about football. So you have tons of these options to do, and kind of go from there. There is this not a poem, but like I said, Charles Bukowski. Sorry, I threw my phone because it was distracting me, but I realized I need it for this next bit. And I like poems and quotes and stuff like that, and tons of ways to get out of that lonely feeling. And like I said, I really love poetry, and I'm getting really deep into it. And my favorite poet is Charles Bukowski. If you don't like typical poetry, you'd like Charles Bukowski. He's like a drunk who does drugs and smokes darts, and he's kind of like the rock star of poetry. And that was dumb, sorry, but there's this really good quote that I see all the time. Let me read it. And when nobody wakes you up in the morning, and when nobody waits for you at night, and when you can do whatever you want, what do you call it? Freedom or loneliness? And it's a really profound statement to me. And I think it fights both points that I'm trying to make here. One, that loneliness is this crippling, painful thing that everybody experiences in their life. And two, that sometimes it's best to be lonely. It's really healthy, and that's where you find out who you really are, and where you should go and what you should do. So the freedom part is yeah, there's a lot of freedom in loneliness. There's a lot of freedom in solitude. Like for me, it's I eat whatever I want. I do whatever I want. I go wherever I want, and if I wanted to pick up and move to Los Angeles, I could do it tomorrow. But there's also that pain in there of I want somebody to want to hang out with me. I want somebody to not want me to move to Los Angeles. And yes, I have a lot of friends, but on that more intimate, deep level that we're talking about when it comes to loneliness. So there's a time for loneliness is kind of what I'm summing up at this point. Is don't chase away the loneliness just because it's scary and uncomfortable. Sometimes you have to embrace it and be lonely, and figure out who you are and what you need to do, so you have a better chance of not being lonely in the future. I don't know if any of that made sense, but there it is. And if you are lonely, talk to your friends. And if you're scared of being lonely, do it scared. That's pretty much everything. Just getting out of your comfort zone, talking to your friends. Yeah, that's all I got. If you did enjoy this, please leave a review. Follow me on Instagram at BoyTalkPod. Shoot me a DM if you have any questions, or have something you want me to talk about, or just give me any feedback. I don't know if I'm doing any of this right. I don't know if there's a wrong way to do it, but I'm trying my best out here. And if you want to email me, it's BoyTalkMen'sHealth@gmail.com. And yeah, take it easy, friends. And hey, again, I'm proud of you for working on yourself. Later, guys. I'm wearing a hat today also, FYI. Bye.